Hello, everyone. Wednesday, 11 a.m. Questions, training, coaching, strength exercises. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. So today's first question is concerning because you sometimes share that you do 10 minutes of cardio, and we therefore got the question, why do you actually do it? Is it like for warm-up purposes, or what's the deal with the cardio?
hmm Okay, so I generally don't think in cardio and strength. Obviously, there's a huge difference between doing what do you want to call it, sports, bodyweight exercises, compared to weighted exercises, strength training. All right, so my purpose of those 10 minutes is very simple. Um, I'm thinking about, okay, preparing myself for what's to come. Okay, I can practice some stuff during cardio. And this is not about, for me, my main purpose of doing cardio is not improving my cardiovascular endurance. It's not zero. I have two main focuses. I always think about what I want to learn when I do stuff. So, what do I want to learn during 10 minutes of cardio? First of all, um, that I do it, right? I'm not a huge cardio guy. I'm not a huge, okay, I want to focus on 10 minutes of body weight work. That's not my wheelhouse. I don't like doing that per se. So I had to come up literally to kind of little bit of lie to myself why I should do it. Cardio and improve my cardiovascular endurance did not do that, right? I could not care less if my cardiovascular endurance is good or bad, whatever that means. So I focus on two things. First one is breathing, and the second one is my hips. All right. So I usually do Stairmaster, so the step thing, right? Um, for my hips, because there I can practice keeping my butt squeezed, practice the neutral hips. I always do the weird stepping over one foot, so I can practice twisting motion for my lower body. So that's the thing I'm focusing on. And surprise, surprise, the most boring thing ever, being on a Stairmaster, um, suddenly became a little bit, at least, enticing because I could see the benefits from doing it, other than some far down the future line cardiovascular heart health issues, and improving them. That's the first one. And the second one is breathing. So there's a very simple rule. I have to go as fast as I can on the Stairmaster, because if I go slow, I just bores the hell out of me. So I have to go as fast as I can while maintaining my nasal breathing. So that means I have to inhale through my nose and inhale through my, I'm sorry, I have to inhale through my nose and exhale through my nose, right? I can't do the
Mhm.
the dog breathing thing, right? Cool. Super important. Those two things I practice, and that gives me an intent for the 10 minutes of being on the Stairmaster. Take those two things away from me, maybe I'll do it for a couple of days, but I get so bored being on the Stairmaster and watching some stuff on TV, it won't work for me. So these are two things that I'm practicing. I'm not focusing on cardiovascular endurance, although it's called cardio. I'm focusing on practicing something for my hip and practicing something for my breathing. That, go ahead.
And how did you come up with 10 minutes exactly? Was that kind of like a trial and error thing, or was that just
No,
something
we
out
did
of the
that back in the
blue?
day with Julian from StrongFit, and it's a random number. Like
Okay.
could be 8, could be 12. See, and it's a good question, but that's the problem in the fitness industry.
Hmm.
Why don't we do 9:30 or 11:45 minutes? It doesn't matter. You can do it for 5 minutes, start with 5. You can do it for 30, but like don't do an extreme. Don't do 30 seconds of it and don't do 30 minutes of it. Because guess what? 30 seconds won't be enough to practice something, and 30 minutes, it's kind of a compulsive behavior already, right? Just start with 10 minutes. I found 10 minutes perfect because I can fit it in every single day. It's 10 minutes. It's not that long. 30 minutes is like, dude, I'm taking 30 minutes away of my time to practice something that doesn't
But
make
do
any
you
sense.
do
So
you do it like only on your full training days, or for instance on the weekends and stuff, or when you're not training, do you still make sure to get those 10 minutes of cardio?
I understand the question and I find it weird at the same time because when I'm training, I'm training. When I'm not training, I don't think about training. So I have 4 days a week where I do that stuff that's gonna be out there at some point in the templates. So I train 4 days a week. That means I don't train 3 days a week because the week has 7 days. That does mean I don't give a shit about anything on those other 3 days, other
Mhm.
than working, family, and that's it.
And in general, because I mean, that's probably now again one of these typical fitness questions. What would you tell someone who is kind of like caught in that cardio versus strength space and does not know how to structure their training? How much of what?
Mhm. So first of all, I think separating those two doesn't make any sense because our body does not work in, okay, now you need cardio and now you need strength. When you're, even if you're just doing your daily stuff, whatever, taking three flights of stairs, for example, you'll need both. Yes, you'll breathe heavier and you don't have the impression that you're lacking strength, but you're lacking like respiratory capacity. That might be true, but I have a weird example because um, there's a CrossFit workout. It's 30 snatches for time. It's called Isabel, and one of the strong. I think Eddie Hall was it. I might be mistaken, but I think it was Eddie Hall, one of the strongest humans that's ever lived, and he did that workout. Almost died doing it, by the way. Whatever, but he did it like blistering fast. So that means there's a balance between being strong and being cardio-ish. It's not a bad idea to be really strong because you can move stuff faster and need less cardiovascular endurance. Okay, the point of the story is what do most people need in their daily life, right? They need a little bit of cardiovascular endurance, right? We're talking about maybe like going for a walk for 30 minutes or hiking for a couple of hours. So that's not like high intensity stuff. And how much strength you need. So taking the stairs without your knee hurting, maybe picking stuff up in your living room, maybe doing some garden work, maybe just basic stuff. So that means you can do both of that in the same session. You don't have to split it up. You don't have to invest a lot of time. This is all doable in an hour max, twice a week, 3 days a week, depending on your goals. The higher the goals, the more of those sessions you'll need.
I just checked, by the way, it was Eddie Hall who did
Yep,
Isabel.
thought so.
But do you think that this is kind of like from something that has crept into the fitness world coming from bodybuilding? That whole idea of separating the cardio from the strength and maybe even going as far as being like, okay, do your fasted cardio sessions in the morning and then add the strength in the afternoon. Something which probably for many people who are not on that professional path is like pretty hard to do in their everyday life, but they still kind of think that this is the way it has to be done.
You mean separating cardio and strength?
Yeah.
Yes, because so the I'm always talking about training normal people. That means um, for daily activities, for daily life, for doing some kind of recreational sport. I'm not talking about how to train professional athletes. And I think that's how this all happened, right? It's that approach trickled down from professional sports because they get the most coverage, they get the most stories, obviously, because those are great stories to hear. And obviously it's great to watch professional athletes do the sport. But I think it trickled down, but it's the wrong approach for us normal people, right? Because yes, in professional sports, it's about like nuances. It's about improving your VO2 max. It's about recovery times. Yes, absolutely. If you have whatever 5 hockey games, professional hockey a week, it matters a lot how your VO2 max is currently balanced. For us normal people, it does not matter at all. So that's why professional athletes have to religiously separate those two, depending on the sport they're doing. And I think it trickled down. I don't think, and I really think it's totally unnecessary to do that harsh separation between those two for literally people who want to stay fit, get fit, less shoulder pain, and somewhat look good.
But is there actually, because you now just opened that whole can of worms of trickling down effect, kind of like from the professional sport, is there actually, in your very personal opinion, is there any positive of having that trickling down from the professional sphere coming into everyday life?
There always is, because the data you get from professional athletes, right? So um, the depth of the data you get from analyzing whatever cardiovascular, there's huge benefits from those data points. The point is always, I mean, it's 2025. We're not lacking information or knowledge nowadays, but I think we're lacking, okay, what to do with it, and do I really need it,
Mm.
right? Because you can Google, I think, literally whatever, Michael Phelps training plan, or if you're in CrossFit, the best CrossFit training plan, or Eddie Hall's training
Mm.
plan. Like that's not the issue anymore. It used to be, of course, before the
Mm.
internet and before Google and all that stuff, but that's not the issue anymore. I think the biggest challenge for us nowadays is to filter. Okay, there's so much information either trickling down from professional sports or coming up from whatever companies. I want to sell something. Like, okay, what do I really need to do
Mm.
to get better? So there's huge benefits from professional sports. The question is, do I actually need those benefits, or do I actually need those whatever data points that are
Mm.
relevant for professional sport athletes?